Hari Om. So today I'm going to discuss the pregnancy and the state of mind during the pregnancy. A lot of negativity is experienced. A lot of mood swings are experienced during pregnancy by the pregnant woman. And it does have a significant impact on her own mental well-being and also on the baby that's going to be born. Although pregnancy is considered to be a very beautiful time of life, generally the time of emotional well-being, but some recent studies suggests that up to 20% of women suffer from some or other mental health issues during the pregnancy. So 1 in 5 women suffer from mental health conditions. Now these common mental health conditions to pregnancy are depression, anxiety, eating disorders, anger or crying. And what is the reason for these different mental health conditions? Of course, the day-to-day life creates stress, the fast lifestyle, the divided families, the working husband and wife, that has created the stress, no doubt about it. But other than that, during pregnancy, the hormonal changes such as estrogen and progesterone levels, higher levels, then the body size, the body weight, the abdominal size, and increase in the fats, all of these changes certainly influence the mental health condition. Along with these changes, there's a fear of the baby coming out. Then there are a lot of worries that relate to what's going to happen after the baby is born. You need to find a good school for the baby. You need to find someone to take care of the baby if you are a working woman. And all these also create a lot of stress. Then once the baby is going to come, the life is going to change. So that also creates anxieties. Now all these factors, they contribute to mood disorders such as depression. A woman can experience sadness. Maybe she is experiencing loneliness and that results in sadness again. The support is not there for her, that can cause a lot of sad experience, sadness experience. Then anxiety disorders, they are related to certain fears, the fear of the changes that are going to happen or the fear of the delivery or fear of the financial management after the baby is born. All of these can create anxiety. Eating disorders also can be a result of such risk factors. The hormonal changes can also lead to the anger spells. And sometimes the pregnant woman can experience crying. So all these mental health issues are very important. Why? There's lots of studies that have been done on the mental health of a mother and the effect. Of course, she's suffering and it's going to affect her physical health as well. But along with the mother's health, these mental health issues have significant effect on the baby. Some of the studies suggest that the mental health issues like anxiety and depression during pregnancy increase the chances of the baby being born preterm, before the due date, and low birth weight, and the problems associated with preterm birth. Similarly, some other studies have suggested that this depression and anxiety can also bring a lot of emotional and behavioral disorders in the children after they are born. So adolescent age or even before that. Now these emotional and behavioral disorders include depression, anxiety, or even developmental disorders such as autism spectrum of disorders, or disruptive behavioral problems such as temper tantrums or ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorders, or oppositional defiant or conduct disorders, even in preschool or in school age children. So the mental health of a mother is very important, looking at its effect on her health and on the baby. Now, if you look at this state of mind, it's a negative state of mind. In that depressed or anxious or angry or crying state, the mind is dissipated and distracted. Negative thoughts keep coming back and they dissipate the mental resources. Inability to bring focus to that mind, and also low willpower. There's no desire to do anything. There is no desire, there's no will to change things. You just suffer. You can experience mood swings. You're happy at one moment and then go back to your sad or anxious state. Or you're excited, but again you end up becoming sad. Or sometimes you're very angry, or sometimes you're crying. So such mood swings can happen during these mental health problems. The negative emotions is a common experience of this negative state of mind. Stress, fear, sadness, irritability, anger. Basically, the peace of mind is lost. So these negative states of mind needs to be converted into the positive state of mind with the practices of yoga. So what is this positive state of mind that yoga talks about? In the previous mind lecture, we talked about gunas, three gunas, the sattva, the raja and tama. So the positive state of mind is the sattva state of mind. So where the sattva guna dominates the functions of your mind. And what is this sattva guna? The purity of heart, the cleanliness of emotional feelings, a positive and a happy state, which is also peaceful. You can easily experience the peace of mind. Even if there is a negative thought, that does not bother, it just comes and goes away. Even if there is a sad thought that comes, your positive or happy state of mind is not affected. Even if there is thoughts of anger, they don't change the purity of your heart. So if you see this state, it's a balanced state. It's a harmonious state of mind where no extremes disturb the state of mind. Now to achieve this sattva state, the rajas and tamas needs to be under control. And how to bring the rajas and tamas under control? The rajoguna, the rajas, can be brought under control if there is a control of desires and anger. The sensory desires and the anger. It can be brought under control, the desires and anger, by the practices of yoga that we will see after. Then also, to bring the rajas and tamas under control, you need to avoid certain self-harming behaviors, such as too much eating or not eating at all. You need to have a control over it. Drugs, you need to control your cravings, you need to control your habits, you need to control your addictions. Avoid laziness, sleepiness. Laziness, sleepiness, addictions, they are connected with tamas. And then in that positive state of mind, once you achieve this sattva dominance by controlling the rajas and tamas, you can easily achieve the control over thoughts and emotions. And the moment we can have control over thoughts and emotions, the positivity is permanently there. The unwavering faith in life, in the energy of the nature, in that cosmic divine dimension, which brings that unconditional love. If that unconditional love can be experienced even once a day, it has the power to help us get rid of our negativities. So this is the positive state of mind that the yoga looks at. And it's a solution to get over all the negative states of our mind. What different yoga techniques we can use? First of all, yoga is all about disciplined lifestyle. The disciplined lifestyle includes eating habits, food. Eating too much, not good. Eating too less, not good. Eating just what you like and avoid what you don't like is not a balanced eating, because our likes and dislikes are triggered by our desires. That is that rajas guna. So we need to control that. Now there's lots of studies and lots of researches which say what is good food to eat in the pregnancy and what to avoid. For example, drinking too much coffee and drinking too much tea in pregnancy have certain negative effects. Sugar-rich drinks, they have negative effects. So we already know there's lots of data, studies, and lots of recommendations out there, but they need to be followed very, very disciplined, in a disciplined way. Then sleep is also very crucial. Too much sleep is not good, and too less sleep is also not good. The sleep need to be adequate, and more than that, the quality of the sleep should be deep. Now, yoga does say how you can improve the quality of sleep. That we'll discuss below with yoga nidra, relaxation, meditation, omkar chanting and all of that. But sleep plays a very, very crucial role. And yoga has given so much of importance to that. But other than that, yoga does say what you watch or what you read or what you hear and what you talk is a very important part of your lifestyle. There are some studies that say that if the pregnant woman is watching all the negative things, violence and all of that, then her stress reaction will be high and there is more chance that the child will have problems. Maybe the child will have fear, anxiety, or maybe the child will have sadness or depression. So what you watch, what you read, what you hear, what you talk not only impacts you, but it impacts the baby as well. And this needs to be reminded to the pregnant woman. So you can read inspiring stories of successful people or yoga masters. The positive material that is there, we can try and encourage the pregnant women to read these kind of things, talk about the same, discuss about the same, which will have a positive impact on our mind. Then the behavior and subsequently the emotions also need to be disciplined. When we have a choice, the behavior should be controlled. When I have a choice to go on a walk, instead of that, I say, no, I will just watch some kind of television show. No. We have to make a conscious choice of a healthy behavior. So that discipline will motivate the pregnant woman to go for such behaviors. And then discipline in emotions. Many times we just accept, oh, this is what I feel, and I have to surrender myself to that feeling. Yoga does not accept that. Yoga says you can control your emotion by changing the contents of your mind. So change the contents to positive contents, like read the positive things, watch the positive things, hear the positive things, and bring the discipline to the emotions as well. Now, while you're doing this job of disciplining the behavior, emotions, the food habits, the sleep patterns, what you talk, what you watch, what you hear, you will need a lot of willpower. You will also need a lot of relaxation. You will need focus of your mind to increase that willpower. And for that, many practices are there in yoga. First, very important is mantra practice, the Om chanting. The Om is known to deactivate the stress response. So it's a direct positive technique for anger, for crying, for depression, for anxiety, for stress. But along with this Omkar chanting, if the pregnant woman includes Gayatri mantra and Mahamrutyunjay mantra, the Gayatri mantra gives that pranic energy, increases that prana, the vital energy, and also inspires the creative thinking that allows us to find solutions to the problems. The Mahamrutyunjay mantra is all about healing energy and positive health. So creative energy, healing energy, and de-stressing Omkar, these three is a wonderful combination to be included in the daily practice. Then of course asanas, pranayam and meditation, and the effects of asanas, pranayam and meditation are very well known. So I'm not going to talk about it. They certainly increase the willpower, improve the quality of life, get rid of stress, anxiety issues, depression. They can reduce anger, can reduce cravings and addictions. So asana, pranayam, meditation certainly and undoubtedly very important practice. Then very regular relaxation, maybe once or twice practice of half an hour of Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra is a very powerful technique discovered and designed by Swami Satyananda. And it's a gift of Swami Satyananda to the world. Yoga Nidra has done wonders. Even in pregnancy, there are so many studies that point out to very positive effects of practice of Yoga Nidra. Then other than that, some simple techniques like Om walking. While you walk, chanting Om. So one Om, one step. Such kind of simple techniques and a very low intensity exercise coupled with Om chanting has very positive effect on the mind and on the body also. It's a very gentle exercise, very helpful to improve the blood circulation, keep the muscles and joints strong and fit, allows the back muscles, abdominal muscles also to strengthen, which are needed in pregnancy. So such simple techniques like Om walking can be very helpful for focus of mind, relaxation of mind, as well as strengthening of your body. Then yoga has always given great importance to the bhakti. The bhakti is that connection that you establish between you, yourself, and Mother Nature, or the energy of Mother Nature, or that cosmic dimension, or with the Guru. Guru is what? Again, it's the energy of wisdom. So positive energy that has all the solutions to our problems, and that energy exists in the Mother Nature. That energy is there in the cosmos. It's a matter of time we connect with it and we find it. And developing this strong connection and faith with this higher energy is very critical for yoga journey. Also, one can establish social connections with like-minded yoga practitioners. If I have friends who always talk about negativity and who are always anxious and fearful, naturally I'm going to take over their anger and fear, and I'll feel like them. But instead, if I have the yoga practitioners who are trying to be positive, then I talk all the positive things, and that social connection is very helpful. The self-help, the social groups are known to influence mental health in a positive way. And here, the like-minded yogis, if you can establish connection with them, if the pregnant woman can establish connection with them, it's certainly going to be beneficial. And then with this practice of yoga techniques, what will you achieve? And with these practices, what you achieve is a happy and healthy mother, physically fit, mentally very positive. And that happy and healthy mother is going to give birth to a happy and healthy baby who is physically and mentally fit and strong. But who is this baby? The baby is the future generation of mankind who make this future world. So if we want a positive world for tomorrow, the mother needs to be very positive today. Hari Om.